as well with Elder Advisors. If you have a senior loved one who's thinking about going into a senior facility, pre-planning is critical. Larry Weiss is here. He is the founder, president, CEO of Elder Advisors. Welcome back, Larry.
Thank you, John Rienzi, Kentuckian is true television personality, I must say.
And you do the introduction for Mr. Langdon.
This, of course, is the erstwhile elder law superstar attorney, Steve Langdon, CLLB. He is our superstar elder law attorney. He makes it work so we can help families protect assets so they don't go broke in a nursing home.
And pre-planning is the key. Now, don't get me wrong. You handle crisis mode every day.
Planning, absolutely.
That happens. But talk a little bit about why you prefer pre-planning and why I think families should be more comfortable with pre-planning.
Well, it's really simple. The sooner they get to us, the sooner they sit down for a free consultation. Zach, what camera am I looking at? Is it 13? Okay. Kentuckian? Okay. Thank you. 13 or 14?
Now it's 12.
Zach, come on. I'm just glad this isn't live television, okay? Hey, I love what I do, Kentuckiana. I am blessed. I'm having the time of my life. I've got 5 great people at Elder Advisors that work with families every day. Fancy in accounting, Suzanne at the office, Elijah in IT, Tim basically working with the families, coordinating with the law firm, with the legal documents the law firm does. And, of course, Autumn Snyder, who's a big fan of the show, by the way. But a lot of that's crisis planning, but we are doing a lot of pre-planning. We have to do a shout-out to Miss Ann. Hi, Miss Ann. Autumn told me to make sure to give you a shout-out because, you know, I got to tell you, she's pre-planning. Miss Ann, and I think it's her nephew David, the Viking, came in, took delivery of some stuff that Steve had set up the other day, and I told her she is such a peach, such a delight, because I told her, I said, you know, you are why I do what I do, because she is just such a delight to work with. Some of the other clients are interesting, but Ann is a delight. Ann is a delight.
She's a sweetheart.
She is a cutie pie.
So tell me, you've mentioned quite a few times that it's free consultation.
Yeah.
So what are these meetings usually like? Give me a couple of examples of what these consultations exist.
Well, John, you know, we're doing workshops. We're back up doing the workshops in March 8th and 9th. But, you know, at the workshop, we offer a free consultation. And I'll tell families at the workshops, you know, you come in for the free consultation. The Elder Law Superstar Attorney Steve Langdon is there because I'm not an attorney. Steve is. And often there's legal questions, but often families are there 10 minutes and they're gone because Steve invites them to bring in their legal documents. He's going to review those documents, and more often than not, Steve will say, hey, you actually look pretty good, this or that. Other times, the receptionist is calling saying, Larry, it's 12 noon, your noon appointment's here, and the 11 o'clock appointment went the whole hour. And then we just schedule a follow-up meeting because, you know, a long journey begins with its first step. So you're not out anything. It's a free consultation. As Steve likes to say, and it's a good segue, it's good news.
It's always good news. No, every time it's good news.
It can be good news as long as you get a professional to handle it.
I just had an appointment this morning, and, you know, and husband and wife came in. They just lost Dad. And Dad, for me, was a long-time client. But they came in, and they were just scared to death. You could just see it on their shoulders. They were just hunched over, and you know, he was supposed to go on a business trip, and that's canceled, and oh my gosh, all this, what are we going to do? We talked for an hour. They're well on their way to getting everything resolved, and it's really not going to be a problem. I just kept telling them the whole time, listen, you have good problems. And that's what most people don't realize.
Right.
They have good problems, and we will get them straightened out. And the long story short, they're going to walk away with all that hopelessness that they feel, all the trepidation they feel, all the anxiety, it's going to go away.
Oh, I like the sound of that. Yeah. You mentioned a lot, we talk a lot generally about moving parts. The legal side is one of the moving parts. So talk about other components that people will deal with eventually.
Well, you know, I like to declare, which is true, that, you know, if in a crisis plan, if it's a husband and wife, thank you, Zach, camera 12, if it's a husband and wife, we can protect all of the assets. Doing that, we need a legal component as well. If it's a single person, we can protect half the assets. And in doing that, there's a legal component to do that. Wait a minute, Tammy. Mel from Shively just called. He wants to know why we're both wearing the same tie.
No, don't do
Mel,
that.
I'm glad you called today because this is what happens when Steve and I don't coordinate. Normally, we call each other about 7:30 in the morning. What are you wearing, Steve?
No, we don't.
We didn't do it.
No,
and this is what happens, Kentuckiana. We get a train wreck because we're wearing the same tie.
No,
and it's a fashion faux pas. It's a fashion faux pas. And I'm quite frankly devastated by this. Devastated.
I will go burn this tie later.
If you would have taken my call. Steve, what are you wearing today? But thank you, Mel from Shively, for pointing that out on live television.
You know, this is kind of revealing, though, because it shows me that you guys don't deal with something that is totally dreadful. You have fun with it because the news is good.
At the attorney's expense.
Oh, yeah. Always at my expense.
but the news is good, right?
It is good news.
You can hold on to the money that mom or dad worked so hard for.
Right. And you know what? These meetings often are stressful, especially in the crisis planning. You know, I like to have fun. It's almost always at my expense or at the attorney's, but I like to have fun because I'm living. I'm not existing. I get up every morning. I can't wait to get in and go have fun. I don't go to work. I go to have fun, and in the process, I help people protect their life savings and giving them peace of mind, and almost always I need the attorney to do that because there's always a legal component, and I'm not an attorney.
Do you expect laws to change? We always talk about a change of a new regime. Do you expect these kind of laws, Elder, especially, but probably when it comes to taxes, penalties, that kind of thing, everything change?
Laws can change, but then also customs change. When I say customs, I mean the individual worker, maybe at the Medicaid office or some other government, they interpret the laws differently from their cohorts, whether in the next county or the next state over. I just had somebody reach out to me today, an attorney in Evansville, who got, and I sent that to you, I think, who had a Medicaid caseworker just completely butcher his case. So he reached out to me, and we talked through a little bit about why this shouldn't be an issue. But we got it all worked out, but it's, you know, a lot of times a caseworker in one cubicle will treat the law differently than a caseworker in another cubicle. And I think that's why it's so important to have the law firm on your side, because they know they can trust us with the rules.
And you guys are connected.
Well, yeah, I mean, unofficially, of course. I mean, obviously, we're not that connected.
I mean, in terms of who you know, like in the right offices, you've got to know.
Right, and to Steve's credit and Dana Bergen, who we were talking about last week, that's why Steve goes to bat for clients, and his paralegal Dana understood the nuances, because what families are having, the problem is with stimulus checks they're receiving, because if they've got down to that under that $2,000 a month to maintain their Medicaid eligibility, and they get a stimulus check of $1,200, families are going over that, and then you've got the attorney in Evansville who probably doesn't do this every day like Steve does. You know, the tail's wagging the dog. The caseworker's telling the attorney, no, she's not getting Medicaid because she's a resource. But then Dana chimed in and said, actually, you have like 12 months to deal with that money, so they don't lose benefits. But you've got to have the right advocate to do that, and that's why always our clients are referred to CLLB, because that's what Steve does.
I mean, there really is. There's no telling how many clients, not our clients, but how many individuals out there have lost their benefits because they got a stimulus check.
Right.
And that's not what the law says.
All right. Coming up next is another attorney, Jonathan
Breitenstein.
And Jonathan, give us a little preview. What exactly are we talking about?
Well, much like when I'm meeting with families and they start getting into elder components and legal, I'm always going to refer them to Steve at CLLB. Sometimes families come in, there may be some issues with mom's care at a nursing home or home health or things like that, and that's something I'm like, well, you know, then I'm going to refer that concern to Jonathan Breitenstein as an attorney, because I'm not an attorney, much less do I know anything about that stuff. So we send that to Jonathan.
All right, so we will talk to Jonathan next about that topic specifically. Again, elder advisors don't go broke in a nursing home. More next on Wave 3 Listens Live.